Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Hope Dealer Podcast with your host, Dr. Brian Hooten here, fresh off another victory of becoming the best new podcast since the Eclipse 2024. We're excited about all the honors that we're getting. Every time we do a podcast, we get some kind of award. I don't know who's giving us the award, but we do get it. And the truth is, we love what we do. Hopefully, when you're coming into the office, you feel that. I want to talk to you today a little bit more about mindset. Ever since I was 13 and I first went to a proper chiropractor, everything started to change and we got out of the system. I just don't go to the doctor. Have I been sick? I guess I've had a fever here and there, but did I take Tylenol? Can you imagine? Like a couple weeks ago, I wasn't feeling too good. It was a big week in here. I misbehaved. I had some bad food. It was delicious bad food. I think I told you it was Fuzzy's Tacos. So give a plug if you're just going to cheat. At least go all out, right? And I felt like garbage the next day. Could you imagine if I walked in here and said, somebody give me a Tylenol, or somebody give me an Alka-Seltzer, or somebody give me some type of drug? I mean, you would. What would you think?
You lost your mind.
Yeah, the world stopped spinning or something. And then we're so anchored into that. And now you've got Steele, my daughter, who is even more so. Now, that doesn't mean we're flippant with our health, does it?
No.
So that maybe is part two. Look, as part of a healthy mindset, being healthy doesn't mean going to the doctor at all. That means taking charge and authority over your life. Mm-hmm. Right? So this whole healthy mindset, how do you bottle that up and give it to somebody? Well, unfortunately, like I mentioned at the beginning, if you're an adult and you've been through some health crises, maybe your kids are in a health crisis, you're already in a situation where you're probably somewhat desperate. I need an answer. Well, in those moments, you're going to go where you've been told to go for your whole life, and that's to the doctor. You got to think differently. So in helping you understand what I'm talking about, let's pretend your whole body is a garden that's supposed to flourish. Okay, like Eileen's body, like the way we're born, God made us to have this flourishing garden as a body. And as we go on through time, our garden should be healthy. It should have ripe fruit. It should have healthy rose bushes. Whatever is in your Garden of Eden, if you will, it should be thriving. So if part of your garden is sick, instead of just trying to medicate the plant, what does a garden need to function? Like, let's say we had a real garden. Like, we've got all these plants out here.
Water.
A garden needs water.
Needs soil.
It needs soil, and specifically what's in the soil?
Minerals.
So nutrients, right? Okay. And then it needs a third thing. Sunshine. So it needs a health. Well, it actually needs a fourth thing. In the case of plants, it needs a lot of carbon dioxide. So our body, the similarity is we need oxygen, we need nutrition. Guess what we need? We need sunshine. Mm-hmm. And we need brain supply, aka the water supply to your garden. So if your throat was feeling bad and you've got this sort of reflux happening, it's fair to say that part of your garden is suffering. Well, what if we just came up and sprinkled some chemicals on the plant? Is that somehow going to make you healthy?
Not at all.
No. Would any gardener do that? Or would they look at the water supply? Mm-hmm. Would they look at the sunlight? Have we given them enough water? Well, the way your body works is very similar. Your brain has to get to your body. Now, you want your brain getting there at 100%. Right? You don't want it going 20%. If your brain isn't getting to 20% of your garden, what happens to 20% of your garden?
Dies.
So does it die immediately?
No. It starts to wither away.
It starts to wither away. So if you're making notes, one huge piece of you getting healthy is start taking care of your spine. Now, just to put a fine point on that, I mean take care of it daily. Right? We shouldn't let our spine rot. So if you sit a lot during the day, your spine is rotting, literally rotting away or eroding away. You need to get up and start moving around. There was an article years ago that came out. It made it through Time magazine even. It said, sitting is the new smoking. Do you remember that one? Mm-hmm. Because smoking has gone way down in this country. Did y'all know that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I remember the numbers correctly, it's like we used to have somewhat over 50% of the country smoked, adults. Well, now it's like less than 7 or 8%. It's way down. But guess what's happened to our lung cancer rates?
I bet they're going up.
It's still high. We still lead the world in lung cancer rates. Now, conversely, Japan is way up into the 50s and 60% of their adult population smokes, but they have one of the lowest lung cancer rates. So it's not just smoking.
Right.
And that was the gist of the article, is that sitting is the new smoking. We sit too much. Our spine begins to rot. Our brain isn't getting there to our immune system, to our lungs at 100%. Of course, we're going to get sick that way. That's where our type of chiropractic comes in. Now, most people, getting back to mindset, when do they think of going to the chiropractor? Yeah, when we hurt, right?
Yep.
Right.
My back.
Pulled my back. Oh, doc, help me. I'm hurting right here. Well, that's a mistake. What I mean by that is, I'm not saying going to the chiropractor is a mistake. What I'm saying is going to a real, proper chiropractor, thinking that I'm going to take away your pain, that's the mistake. I'm going to reestablish the water supply, or I'm going to reestablish your spinal flow so your body and your garden can now begin to heal. And just like a real garden, if part of your garden is hurting and you reestablish the water supply, what happens to the garden?
Starts to flourish.
Yeah, your garden will start to flourish. Your body will too. So that's what real chiropractic is about. Now, I hope this podcast finds its way into chiropractors' ears that are treating symptoms. That's not real chiropractors. You guys are trying to play medical doctors. You're trying to play symptom treaters. Is that right or wrong? I'll let the world, I'll let the market, I'll let history decide that one. I'm just telling you what a proper adjustment does is allows your body to heal. So if you're thinking that way, I want my body healing all the time, shouldn't you take care of your spine all the time? Now, the only people that I would say don't need to come and visit us regularly are people that live in the mountains. They're walking around everywhere. They hardly ever sit. They live off the land. You know, they're not having a bunch of chemicals put in their body. You know, they don't go to doctors. Maybe they come and visit me once or twice a year just to see how they're doing, to stay in good shape. Believe it or not, I've had a few people with wildly healthy spines come in here in their 80s. Not a drug for anything. Don't ever get sick. No arthritis in their spine, nothing. All the curves were proper. And I said, hey, you're doing great. You can come and see me once or twice a month or a year if you want to, or if something starts to go bad, come back. But if that's not you, if you're dealing with some type of health issue, or if you want to be preventative, you got to know how your spine is doing. That's where the x-rays come in. We'll show you how the adjustments work, obviously, give you a little taste of that, all on your first visit. You know, so you're not left wondering, what is this all about? Would you say we do a good job of explaining things when you guys first start? Yeah. And then if there's any questions beyond what your spine is doing for you, we've got Eileen, who's become what I would say a master in lifestyle just because of things she went through, what she's seen around here. You got Christine, who runs the office, who's had a real similar thing. She took her brand new baby to the doctor, and they said, you have permanent hearing loss. Like, can you imagine having a baby? Why did she go to the doctor? Well, that's a whole nother thing. She wasn't thinking. She got scared, right? Took her baby to the specialist. Said, yeah, permanent hearing loss. You're going to need hearing aids. He'll have developmental delays, learning disabilities, and all that. And we said, no, get out of that system. Get this little baby's spine properly adjusted, and he's hearing fine just now. What is he, 5, 6 years old?
He's 5.
Doing great. He's smart as a whip. Normal kid hears 100%. And there's story after story like that of normal healing. So on the one hand, that sounds like a miraculous story, like you're healing, right? Miraculous story. My body healed from this untreatable condition I had, this incurable autoimmune disease when I was a kid. I don't have it anymore. It's gone. My garden flourished. Those sound like miracles. Really, that's what's supposed to happen. This is the normal. You know, before medicine showed up, in the early 1900s is when formal medicine, the way that we know it, started to develop. What did we do? Did we all just die? Or did the human race figure it out? Did the population that was here, from Adam and Eve or whatever you believe, we flourished for thousands of years before modern medicine was anywhere around? So this idea that modern medicine has given us quality of life is garbage, right? Are we living longer today than we did 150 years ago? Because of sanitation practices, we are. And I talked about this on a podcast, I believe, weeks ago. Remember that? Did we talk about that? I'll give a little brief history. In the 1800s, babies and moms were dying. The babies were dying at birth. The moms were dying, and they were typically 16, 17 years old back then. They were dying at childbirth because the people delivering babies, the obstetricians of the day, the doctors, they weren't washing their hands between doing an autopsy and going to deliver babies. So they were taking this infection that they were getting from these dead bodies and giving it right to the moms while they were pulling babies out, and the moms were dying up to 1 in 3. So that would obviously lower that, and that carried on for decades. Probably for a century. Of course, that is going to keep the average age of death lower, right? So once people started washing their hands, right, and we started having plumbing, then we weren't passing around these diseases. Then our age started to increase. But then as medicine has got involved, our quality has gone down, and that's something you can look up. America has ranked last or near the last in all of the modern world and all the first world countries in years of quality life. And a big piece of that is this reliance on doctors and drugs. So the big theme, if you will, is that you are in charge of your health. This whole idea of go talk to your doctor, that's a big fat lie. You don't have to do that. Of course, if there's an emergency and if you need help determining what an emergency is, of course you can ask us. If somebody breaks their leg and their bone is coming right through their skin and they call me for an adjustment, I'm going to say, look, we've got to go to the emergency room. Let's get you patched up, right? That is where we have excelled with medicine in this country, is this emergency type care. But don't rely on emergency type care to be healthy. It doesn't work out. And behind all that is all this money. I wanted to touch on this. The number one selling drug for a long time was Humira, which a lot of you have heard of this. It's one of these biologic medications that doctors are given for rheumatoid arthritis, for skin conditions, for gut diseases, you name it, for all kinds of different maladies. And side effects include cancer. It even says it on the box. It says it in the commercials you see for this thing. But that doesn't matter to these doctors and these people because they want to quit hurting. Well, that drug made almost $1 billion back in 2012, the first time I looked it up. In 2022, it made over $20 billion. So it's gone up exponentially in terms of the amount of revenue that people are making off this medication. The only drugs above it, there's a cancer drug that's selling more, and then the COVID vaccine in 2020, one of the COVID vaccines in 2022 made like $25 billion. And there was a fellow who was my age, and I'm just going to call him Mr. C because his family will see this podcast, and I don't want to speak ill about him, except I'm going to trash his philosophy. And they're all aware of what happened. So they fell into this lie that you needed a COVID vaccine. And I am sure if you go share this video, just the fact that I'm talking about this is going to get all kinds of marks and whatever, I don't care. So they fell into this trap of believing this COVID vaccine was going to save them. So they went as far, Mr. C and his family, they set up shop for drive-through COVID vaccines. And from what I could understand, they funded it. They bought all these. When I say this family had money, let's just say when a storm tears up a town, they call these people to help handle the construction of all the houses and everything. Big government contracts. I mean, we're talking millions, if not billions of dollars. So this guy had all the resources in the world, just a year or two older than me, trying to help people. He was a philanthropist, right? And a super nice guy. Believed in this lie that drugs are going to save us. So he takes all his COVID and all his bushes and everything, drops dead last year, drops dead after getting somewhat of a healthy report from his doctor, drops dead. How does that happen? And you've heard of these stories. They're all over the place. Well, the biggest mistake he made is that he believed in the system, that he believed that medicine and doctors are going to keep you healthy. That is a lie. We have to get that out of your head. They're great for the emergency room and really crappy at keeping us healthy. Like, you can't get healthy taking medicine. It's not going to work. You can treat a symptom, but you're going to have a side effect of that drug. Or you're covering up the symptom's going to get worse while you don't feel it. And none of it lines up with getting healthy. And that is not how you're made. You're made to thrive and be well. So what do you have to do? Take care of your mindset. Stop believing the lies. Get your kids out of it. You know, if you feel like you've got to give your kid a Tylenol, I'm going to stop short of giving you medical advice. What I am going to tell you is start thinking, why does my kid have a fever? There you go. Let's get Eileen's opinion. You've got 2 kids. You had 2 babies. Why do kids get a fever?
They've picked up a virus.
Okay, but what
Because
is
their
the
immune
fever
system-
doing?
The fever is actually putting out that virus. It's actually trying to kill it.
The fever, so your body releases all this stuff throughout your arteries and takes your body temperature up to kill the bug, to kill off the excess bacteria, to kill off the excess viruses. Your body doesn't have a self-destruct mechanism. This idea that fever is going to kill you is another lie. What happens when fevers stay high and the baby gets dehydrated? Now we're in trouble. That the baby starts having seizures, but it's not the fever killing the kid. The fever is trying to save the kid. But you listen to the TV and Johnson & Johnson, who makes Tylenol, they'll tell you to take this Tylenol
Yep.
to kill the fever. The way Tylenol works is by killing the part of your liver that's a big piece of how your body gets a fever in the first place. If you kill your liver, how are you going to be healthy? And that's something easily you can look up. What is the side effects of acetaminophen? It's all over the place. Acute liver failure. For a long time, it was the cause of acute liver failure in the U.S. So that parents start thinking, what do I need to do to support my kids' health now? And is not rely on medication. Lifestyle stuff. So your mindset is key. You got to realize you're in charge. You're responsible for you and your kids' health. Number 2, the easiest thing is just clean up their diet. And we could do 10 podcasts on that. We've got all kinds of info for you up here, how to clean up your diet. That's easy to do at home. And take care of your spine. Get in here. Get in here. If you're anywhere in the North Texas area, we had a family in here from Midland yesterday. Today's Tuesday. They were here Monday from Midland to get their spine properly adjusted. That's 5 hours from here, right? Carve out time. If you take that time to invest in your health now, you're talking quality of life later, and that is invaluable. When I'm 70, 52 right now. What am I, 52? 53.
53.
No, I'll be 53 this year.
Yeah.
When I'm 55, when I'm 60, hopefully my memory's a little better, right? When I'm 70 and 80, I want to be thriving. I want all parts of my body to be working. I want, just to be blunt, I want a healthy sex life with my wife. I want to watch my kids and her grandkids grow up. I want to be able to help them play soccer. What do you want when you're 60, 70, and 80? What do you want for your kids as they grow up? If you really want them to be well, you'll take care of at least those 3 things. Get the mindset right. Start feeding them proper food. Start taking care of their spine. Now, there's 2 other things we've got to talk about, exercise and toxicity. But at least if you take care of those first 3, you've eliminated a massive portion of any kind of disease that could come get you. Any final thoughts? That raise any questions?
Not really. Every time you drink water, throw some minerals in there.
Yeah, no, that easy part of nutrition, put some trace minerals in there. There's all kinds of different trace minerals out there. I know you like that one. What's it called? Beam minerals. My family uses just the concentrates brand, trace minerals in all the water. Just for example, how important minerals are. We've all heard the term electrolytes. Have y'all heard of that? Just to put you on the spot, do y'all know what electrolytes are? The word means it's electrical charge, so like it could pass electricity through your body. So electrolytes, that's electrical conducting substances in your body. Well, they're made from minerals. So a classic example is potassium chloride. That's probably one. Yeah, sodium chloride. You got all these different electrolytes that your body uses for nervous system conduction, especially nervous system conduction. Well, that's one benefit of adding more minerals. You get more natural electrolytes that way. Your body will manufacture what it needs. But we got all kinds of info for you up here, but you got to get your spine flowing. Unless your spine is perfect, you should be in here every week. Bare minimum, twice a month, maybe once a month. But even then, you're risking it because we sit too much in this country. So call us up. You can find us online, drhooten.com. Obviously, we're in the North Dallas area. You search social media. You can find us everywhere. You can see testimonies. If you see me doing that adjustment, don't let that scare you. Obviously, that's a good clickbait, if you will. People love to see the MTA or the world changer or the life changer, whatever we call it. But for babies, I don't do that.
No.
It's real gentle. And then we've got patients as old as 100 years old all the way down to brand new infants. So if you fit in there between 1 minute old and 100 years old or even 110 years old and you want to get your spine flowing, I can probably help you. And if I can, I'll tell you. There's no pressure. It's just, here you go. This is what you've got. This is what you can do to change your life. So any final thoughts?
Nope.
All right, remember, drugs are bad. God is great. And
so are you.
Talk to you next time.